Good morning, everyone. It is time for lunch with Lori on this Thursday morning. It is Thursday, September 21st. And I am super excited to show you another bundle for today. Today we're going to be using the Pick of the Patch bundle, which is a stamp set along with a punch. And everybody loves a punch because you don't have to have any special equipment. Let me get my computer comments lined up here really quick. And turn off the volume on my computer so that I don't have feedback. Hang on one quick second. There we go. If you are here today, let me know where you're from and what you, if you have this bundle or if you like it. I'm not going to do any Halloween cards today. There are some Halloween possibilities with this stamp set. There's the cute little jack-o'-lantern face and the happy Halloween, but today I decided to focus just on fall. And as I was getting ready to do this, I realized that there's some fussy small pieces. So I'm going to show you how to make those, and then I will... I put them together already so that you don't have to watch me struggle through that. So I'm going to set this stamp set aside. Oh, hi, Robin. Hope that it is beautiful weather in Texas today. All right. First of all, I'm going to make a quick note card. Just a quick, I did fancy cut a couple of items on this one. I did fancy cut the small little crushed curry pumpkin and the old olive gourd, but you can actually just a simple stamp that direct on the paper, and maybe I will try that for you because I did punch the pumpkin because that is a punch in the set, and then I already fancy cut with my scissors the pumpkin and the gourd, but I'm going to try. I have an extra piece of paper just in case this doesn't work out because that's how things work for me sometimes. I'm going to just stamp the word. Thank you so much. This is just a 3.5 by 5 note card. Stamp that in early espresso ink. And I can't see when I'm sitting down with this crazy thing. And I'm going to start from there. And that way, if I have to start again, then I haven't done everything. All right, on my sample, I drew a line so that they were kind of sitting maybe on a table ledge or on a surface of some sort. But I think for today, I'm going to just stamp it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the gourd. And I'm going to stamp it directly on. Actually, no, I'm not, because I don't have the little tiny little stem out. I guess I could put that on the back of my paper really quick. Maybe I will. All right, I'm going to try something different than what my actual sample says. I'm not sure why my screen keeps going in and out, so I apologize for that if it's causing anyone else grief. All right, I'm just going to stamp that right on the vanilla cardstock, so that I've got a green gourd, and then I will make the stem. I did not want to stamp and punch all of these stems, so the other stems that you will see I actually just punched. So, about to give him a green stem. I want the brown. All right, so we have our gourd. Oh, good. There's some flashing on my screen, and I'm not sure what that is exactly. All right, so I have my gourd, and then I'm going to add, excuse me, my little yellow pumpkin and my orange pumpkin. In just a second, I'm going to pop those up, actually, so that I have some dimension. And then, I think, what do you think? Should I do the line? I think maybe I will put that line on there so it looks like a little bit of a surface. So to do that, what I did was I just took a little piece of cardstock, laid it on, and I took not the brush tip of my marker, but the other tip, that's just thin, and I just went across. So it was like a little table ledge. All right, then we need some polka dots in the background, and I want to do that before I put down my pumpkins. And I'm going to do some full on and some stamped off. So it's kind of a two-step stamping, sort of. Second generation, I guess that's what it's called. All right, that's probably enough, just to give it a little bit of background so it's not quite as plain as it would be if it was just the background. And then I'm gonna get my dimensionals, put those on here. Not sure if one will cover that little guy. Fall colors are not always my strong point. Old Olive. I used Old Olive on this card. Anyone who knows me, that's twice this week. I have used colors that are not my thing. On Tuesday, if you watched, I used Wild Wheat, which is one of the new in colors, which is close to that more mustard that I, did not like in the past. And I'm just going to put the pumpkins down. And then we'll just glue it on, and it'll go on the card front. This is my second live this week, which is a little crazy for me. I am in my final, hopefully, home stretch of earning the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. So I've been doing a few extra classes just to help myself get there. So here we are, and I've had to design 2 extra classes on Tuesday. We use, what did we use on Tuesday? The new bundle called Hexagon. Oh my goodness. Heartfelt Hexagon. There we go. Which is a new bundle that's going to be actually in the spring catalog that comes out, that they have debuted early for World Card Making Day. So we used that on Tuesday. And today we're going to switch to fall. So there you go. Just a simple fall thank you card. And it's really quick when you already have the pieces cut. So, all right. So then card number 2, because nobody wanted to be here all day. All day. All right, I have these cut also, but I'm going to show you how I did them. All right, so this card uses the pumpkins, just the pumpkins, and both of these size pumpkins are punched along with the leaves. I used the Distress Tile Embossing folder, which is, it's beautiful. You can't really tell probably from the embossing folder, but it has some spots that are more deep, and then they have some that are not. And it just makes it look distressed. So it's a very pretty embossing folder that just gives a nice background. So for my pumpkins for this one, I didn't want just a solid color orange pumpkin because I wanted it to have a little more dimension. So what I did for these, I have pumpkin pie ink, and I also have Cajun Craze, and the Cajun Craze is what will give it some dimension. All right. All right, so what I did, I inked my pumpkins with the pumpkin pie, just like on the other one. Then I took my sponge dauber and I dabbed it in Cajun Craze. And I just made random darker spots on the pumpkin because everybody knows that pumpkins are not necessarily all one color. And then I stamped it. And I also got some Cajun Craze ink on my fingers. So we'll pretend like we don't see that. All right, so let me make sure. So you can see it's not the same as the solid orange. It just gives a little bit bit of dimension on the pumpkin. So I'll do that a couple of times. And since these are kind of the same colors, I'm just tapping it off, and the Cajun Craze on the orange pumpkin pie pad won't cause any grief. And then I'll do the same thing again. And I didn't do it in the same spot on any two, so it's all kind of random. If you have this bundle, so that one's a little different. This one I did a little better because there's not as many white spots. If you have this bundle and you are going to stamp and die cut or punch the pumpkins, on the punch, these two pumpkins, the small and the large, are next to each other. So when you flip it over, and I did this on the wrong end, I should not have done this. So when you go in to punch it, you're losing that piece right there. You lose that, so you waste that paper. So instead of doing that, what I should have done was start at the other end. Let me do one really quick so you can see. It's the same one. Right. Little orange and pumpkin pie. All right. All right, so I've got my pumpkin. Now when I go on, I'm at the end of the piece of cardstock on the strip. So that way when I punch this, I don't lose any of the card. I don't waste any. So when I move to the next one, when I do it in line this way, where that is punching out has already been punched out. So it's not a waste of your paper. All right, so I'm gonna sit those aside, and I'll do these later so that they're not when I go down the line later. All right, so I have already put together pumpkins and leaves because I glued each of those together. So all I had to do was assemble for you because that was much easier. All right, I found it easier to go ahead and put down with the tape runner the piece that I'm going to glue on, because once you've got lumpies on the front, it is hard to run that tape runner across there. All right, and I did white on white. That was actually the card I used for inspiration was a lady in the Netherlands, and that was how she did hers. So I'm going to, excuse me, I have had a cough for a month and I cannot get rid of it. And I go to the doctor tomorrow for my regular checkup, and I'm going to ask him what in the world is going on. All right, so I'm going to put the dimensionals. So I apologize that I'm coughing. On the back of my pumpkins. I'm going to go ahead and do all of them so that they're ready. It's a lot of dimensionals. All right, and you can pick where you want to start. I did start with the upper top ones. Actually, I should probably go ahead and glue this part down too onto my card base. Boop. All right. Hot mess. Here I am. I finally figured out how to get my camera turned sideways. That's been an issue for me in my recent lives, but I figured out by watching YouTube how to get that straightened out. So thank goodness you're watching me in the correct orientation today. Technology is not necessarily my friend. All right, so I've got this base put together, ready to go. Now I'm going to start putting on my pumpkins, and it doesn't really matter where you put those. Oop, I missed this guy. Right. Probably should have used big dimensionals for this one, but this is what I have handy. So this is what we're using today. I just used a little bit of liquid glue, and I put the leaf that I punched and the stem of the pumpkin on with those. And I just started building at the top. You can do it however you'd like. Actually, I'll show you what I did. I'm going to put a little stem. You can use liquid glue or just a touch of, hopefully my liquid glue cooperates, just a tiny little drop on there. And that should take care of it. I'm not sure if the odd number of things on your card applies in this case, as it does with embellishments, that you should, try to use odd numbers. But I did choose 5 pumpkins just in case anybody was concerned about that. So I got my pumpkins on there. Then I'm gonna put my Harvest of Blessings phrase on there. And I used a 1/2-inch strip for that. And then I simply just flagged the ends with my scissors. You could always use the little V punch if you like, but I just decided to use my scissors. And then I also dimensional that, since this is a little bit rough. Regular adhesive doesn't always stick. All right, put that right across there. And there's your card. You could easily put some gems on there to bling it up, but I like that embossing folder, and I think it kind of stands alone without any extra stuff. All right, card number 3. That embossing folder is beautiful. We are actually using that for our retreat this weekend as a background on one of our cards. All right, third card is also just pumpkins. I did these in Cajun Craze and Pumpkin Pie, and I have those already done because, again, you don't want to see me sit here and try to put all those stems on. We'd be here till tomorrow at lunchtime, and that would be bad. That embossing folder is in the September to December holiday mini. I don't have the catalog in front of me, but it goes, if you look in the back in the index of all the things, it's in the embossing folder section. All right, so for this one, thought I lost my pieces for my card. Oh my goodness. All right, so this one I cut at 4 1/4 by 11, and I wanted it to go horizontal, so my card opens like a book. You could easily cut an 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 and open it the other way, and do it that way. But I decided to do a little sort of fun fold. When I do 4 1/4 by 11-inch cardstock, I typically score it before I fold it, just because it makes the score line a little nicer. All right, so then I have 2 different sizes of white, so I've got to keep these straight. These pumpkins are going to sit in a bed of leaves, of fall leaves. And so what I did, I have all different colors here, and I would never do this in a class because, as you know, I don't trust anyone because they get all my inks all messed up. All right, so I'm going to start with Old Olive, and I'm just going to start, and I'm going to do stamp full strength and then stamp the second all the way across randomly. And there's no rhyme or reason to where I did that. Then I'm going to wipe it off. I have my chamois here. And then I'm going to move to the crushed curry. And this is just fall leaves. So whatever colors you have on in your collection is whatever fall colors you have are perfect. Oop. All right, so then I've got the gold. Now I'm going to move to orange, and I wouldn't necessarily have to clean it, but I don't want it to be a bad habit. So I'm going to wipe that off. And then I'm going to come with pumpkin pie and do the same thing again. And you can always add more or less or whatever colors that you think you want. And again, I'm moving to a darker color with the orange family, so you could do this without wiping it off, but you definitely wouldn't want to go back to the yellow. But I wiped it off, so my final color here will be Cajun Craze. And, all right, so they're not fully, hopefully you can see that. All the different colors of fall leaves. I don't know that all leaves look the same or that are different colors, but for my card, they definitely are. All right, so for this one, I'm going to say, you're the pick of the patch. Well, hey, Jennifer Fletcher, good to see you. This is a cute set. Like I said, I'm not doing Halloween today because I'm just not in the mood for it today. So today is fall. Actually, I believe that is today the first day of fall. I think it may actually be. And I stamped it a little crooked, so we'll pretend like that is straight because I should have done that first. So pretend for a second that it's straight. I'm stamping behind it, so I couldn't actually see. And then I'm going to start putting my pumpkins on. And I have some in the green, oh my goodness, in the pumpkin pie, and some I've got in the Cajun Craze, and I have one that's like 2, it actually has a leaf attached. We'll leave that. So you can arrange those however you'd like. And I'm going to put some flat and some taller. Maybe like that. This one has dimensionals on it already. So I'm just going to start building it. That's just my pumpkin patch. I'm going to put this one flat also. And there's no right answer for this one. Just put your pumpkins in the patch and then I'll give this guy some dimensionals also. All right, I am home alone today. My husband is traveling for business and he hasn't been out of town in way too long. So I am enjoying some quiet time by myself, which is not terrible, but it's just unusual. All right, so then I've got my pumpkins on there. Oh, and I just didn't follow my own advice and I didn't put this on first. So get that attached on my Cajun Craze panel. All right, and then I thought it's a little bit blah. So, not blah, but it just needs a little something. So I don't want to do anything too crazy because I want the pumpkins to be the star of the show. There's something going on in my neighborhood. The police and the fire and the ambulance have gone by in the last 30 seconds. I apologize for that. All right, so it needs a little bit of something. So I'm doing all the things that I don't usually do this week. I used Old Olive. I used Wild Wheat. I am tying a bow for you, which is an amazing feat. I am not a great bow tire. We're gonna go with it. Linen thread's pretty forgiving. And then we're gonna use a glue dot. And typically I would tell you to put the bow directly on your glue dot, but these glue dots are bigger than, what's on this side? A little bigger than a linen thread bow. So this, just for linen thread, I peel off the glue dot and roll it. You ladies who have been here before know what I've said that looks like. If you have boys, you might know what that is. All right. Then I just put it on one of the pumpkins. Now on my sample, I used the same gems, the basic Bloomin' Pearls. The Bloomin' Pearls, we talked about those on Tuesday. These are the same pearls that I used with our class on Tuesday, and I used the gold ones. But for this one, actually, let me ask you which ones you prefer. These are the Bloomin' Pearls. I can use the gold, or I can use the in-colored dots, which are actually copper clay, but I think they would go nicely as well. So I'm going to take a vote. Gold or copper clay? Does anybody have a distinct, definite, what you think I should put on here for the embellishments? I think I might try the copper clay just to see how they look. So that way the sample will be different. All right. Oh, copper clay. I got 2 votes for copper clay, so let's go copper clay. On Tuesday, I talked about don't get hung up on placement of gems. I am an overthinker. I will admit it. I think too much, and then I think, oh, I don't like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You can put them wherever, and they will just add a little bit of shine, and it'll add something to your card. So there is my crooked pick of the patch with the copper clay. I actually like those a lot. You could easily use copper clay as one of your pumpkins as well. I had that stamp set out and then I didn't end up using it. So there's the copper clay embellishments and there's the gold embellishments. So let me pull all my cards back out. We have that one, and that one today. And that is so not my color family, but I do actually like these cards a lot. The Pick of the Patch bundle, like I said, comes with a punch and the stamp set, and for the whole bundle it's only $37.75 here in the United States. So that's actually not too terrible. I do thank you all for watching. I was going to give an update on my countdown to Mexico. I'm not quite there yet. I still have some to go. I have my fancy board. And everybody, you won't be able to see the whole thing because my camera is too low, but everyone who spends $50 will get their name on a square, and they will receive a package of iridescent sequins, the ones that match the Merry and Bright. And if you spend $100, then you will get $20 for free, which is more than the usual hostess money, but it is my Viva Mexico special. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I will be going live next Tuesday at 11:30 again, and then next Thursday, I believe it'll be 1 o'clock because I have a class in the morning, so I will have to wait until I'm done with that, but I'll let you know that for sure. I will send out reminders. If you have any questions, please let me know. I should be around, and I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all next Tuesday. Thanks.